Hey, welcome to CS Developers. In this video, I explain how you can add a background image in HTML. Let's take a look. Okay, so before I show you how to add the background image, let me quickly walk you through the setup that I have. So first, I have an HTML file, which is the entry file of this simple web page. Then I have an images directory for my images and a CSS directory for the CSS files. It's important to be organized. All right, so now let me walk you through the HTML real quick. So here I have the version of HTML that I'm using. This is how you tell the browser, hey, I'm using version 5. Then we have the HTML, we have the head, which contains metadata or basically data about the page, such as the title, which is what you see over here, and I'm linking to the external CSS that I have over here. Now you don't need to link to the external CSS, you can just use internal CSS using the style tag, or you can also use inline CSS using the style attribute. But I recommend that you get used to using external CSS because that's what you're going to use most of the time when you get a job. All right. Next, we have the body. The body is the element that contains all the information that you see on the screen. Inside the body, I have my hero container. Inside the hero, I have this other container just to keep my text isolated from the main wrapper. Then I have the heading that you see over here, the paragraph that you see over here, and this link, which is style as a button in this case. Okay, so now let's take a look at the CSS. So here I have this selector, which means select everything and remove the padding and margin from it. Browsers by default add margin and padding to elements, as you can see. So I don't want that to get in the way when I add the background image. That's why I have that. And then I just have some CSS for what you see on the screen. All right, so now let's add the background image. To add a background image, you can use the background image property. Then for the value, you type URL, and here you specify the path to your image. In my case, I'm inside style.css, so I need to go one directory up. So I need to go outside of style.css. And for that, you can use that /, and as you can see, VS Code is helping me. So images, and then the name of my image. And as you can see now, we added the background image. But wait, that's not everything, right? You can also add a background image from an external source. For example, I'm just going to grasp this image from this source, copy image address, go back to VS Code and replace that with this. And now you can see the background image has been added. Now, even though that is possible, I don't recommend that you go that route because you don't have control over this image, right? The owner can take it down, the website can be down, and the image will photo on your website. Therefore, I recommend that you download your image and host it yourself. Okay, so now we have the background image, but let's make it look better, right? So if I expand this, you can see that the background image start to repeat itself. To fix that, you can add the background repeat property. So background repeat and set it to not repeat. So now if I expand again, you can see that now the image stopped, right? Instead of duplicating itself. But we wanted to cover the whole section of the time. For that, you can use the background size property. So background size and the value is going to be cover. And now the image is covering the whole section. All right, so now I'm just going to set a color so that this looks better. Let me just copy what I have over here. Here. Okay, that's looking better. So now let's get the image stretch the whole viewport. And by the viewport, I mean what the user can see. So for that, you can set the height to 100% viewport height. And what it means is it doesn't matter how tall or short the screen is. I want this image to cover the whole section that the user sees. As you can see, it covers the whole thing. But note that this image, it's half blue, I think is this color, and then half pink. If you want it to always be sort of like center, you can fix that by saying background position center. And now we can see that the image is perfectly centered. And that's basically it for the background properties that I wanted to explain. So now if you wonder how can I center this text to be always over here? So to center things horizontally, you can just do, in my case, test align center. And now as you can see, the text is aligned. Now if you want to center things vertically, there are different ways to go about it. In my case, I'm just going to use display flex. And the way that display flex works is that on the parent element, you do display flex and then align items center. And as you can see, it's centered, but because of the display flex, now it's no longer centered horizontally. For that, you can just do justify content center. And there you go. So now it's centered horizontally and vertically, and this is responsive too. Even if I do this, as you can see, it still is centered. If I expand this, still center. All right, that's basically it for this video. If you like it, please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.